Hello, hello, hello. Hello, my darlings, and welcome to day 2 of the Choose Your Own Adventure series. Day 2. So, we're going to begin today with a short recap of what I shared with you yesterday, and then we're going to dive into the 7 rules of the Alignment Club. It's a little bit like the whole kind of Fight Club thing. First rule of Fight Club is psst. So this is what we're going to do today. So if you are here and watching live, please do say hello. It's lovely to know who is here. I always invite you to engage as much as you want to. I'd love to know your thoughts on what I share. If any questions come up, please do post them into the comments and I will respond as we go along. And any realizations, anything that makes you go, aha, that could pop up as you're listening now, that would be great to share those with us all too. We are all each other's teachers. It's really important that we always remember that we all, each of us, has our own genius gifts and wisdom and stories that we never know how that will impact and inspire somebody else. If you're watching this on the replay, please do say hello on the replay. You can say hashtag replay. Again, it's really lovely to know who has been receiving what I have to share here in the Creative Genius land. Okay, so let's begin with a recap from day 1. And yesterday was all about, or day 1 was all about why we need to be in alignment for whatever it is that we are desiring to grow, to build, to craft, to step into, step forwards towards, and so on. And we looked at some examples, some analogies of whether it's literally building a house, building a business, building a family, what it is that we might be starting from scratch to create. The second analogy is we looked at relationships, okay? Entering into relationship, and not just intimate relationship or partner or partners, but also any kind of relationship, friendships, business collaborations, creative collaborations, and so on. The third thing we looked at yesterday was around stepping up into leadership. I might have these in the wrong order, but yeah, stepping forwards into leadership, whether that's for your being the boss of yourself, your own company, stepping forwards into promotion at work, or whether it's just being the leader of your own self and your own life. The fourth thing we looked at was around literally taking a trip, going on a journey, going on your own adventure, setting off with your bag on your back, compass and map in your hands, and seeing what happens. And then the last one that we were looking at building is around a project. I had to just check that one then. Yeah, creative project, whether that's writing a book, whether that's getting your painting exhibition ready, whether that's creating performances, whatever it might be, community projects, charity projects. So basically, this thing about being in alignment or not in alignment, we touched upon that a little bit yesterday, is just the most profound, radical groundwork that we need to be aware of and have in place before anything else, before we begin to take action, to do the work, to move from formlessness into the form, to bring into actualization, into manifestation, creation, whatever it is that is the desire or dream that you have. Okay? It comes just before that first stepping into. And if we have our alignment in place beforehand, then we know we are on the path to success to begin with. And that might seem like a really huge thing to say, but it is absolutely 100% the truth. Because as we saw yesterday, and if you've not watched this, you can find the day 1 video, either if you're watching this on Facebook, scroll back through the group, or just ask me in the comments, I'd like to watch the day one, or ask me down below if this is on another platform, and you can watch that one maybe first and then come into this one afterwards. So when we have all of that in place, we know where we're going, we know why, we know what it is that is important to us, what this means to us, what we're going to receive, what we're also going to be clearly offering. We know what we stand for. We know what our values are. We know what we're being guided by deeply from every single cell of our being is absolutely correct for who we are. And that builds something. When we don't have those things, or we're coming from a misaligned place, everything starts off slightly wonky. I think wonky is a technical term here. Slightly skew with. Nothing is actually going to be sustainable, honest, fulfill us, unless we have our alignment very clear. And when we're coming from a place of misalignment, we're starting from that place before we've even taken a step, we will encounter so much resistance, so many challenges, so many extra problems, so much wasting of our own resources, and also frustration. We'll probably burn ourselves out. And the most important thing is we will probably give up and let go of that dream and desire before it's even had a chance to take root properly in the soil that we have cultivated by getting into clear alignment. So there's a lot at stake here before we even begin. So why do we want to start with alignment? What does alignment give us? Alignment gives us this absolute steadiness right through the center of our being, right through our core. It's like almost like a diamond strength. Okay? There's an unbreakableness to this place. It's not rigid though. That's more of a control place. Yeah, rigidity can break into 1,000 pieces. Rigidity doesn't have any flexibility or movement or sway in it. If you think about something like bamboo, bamboo is one of the strongest natural materials to build things with. And yet if you see bamboo out in the wildness, it has this beautiful sway. It has the possibility to bend. It's allowing itself to be moved and danced by the wind and by the elements because it is a part of nature. We're nature too. We can forget this sometimes, especially in this ultra busy, ultra stressful, productive, city geared, social media anchored world that we're in today. Very easy to forget that. So what it means is that even though we have this solidity all the way through us, it means that we allow ourselves to do this. We can be moved and swayed and wobble, but we don't collapse and break. And that is powerful. We can yield, with the buoyancy and the ride of life. You can almost imagine yourself on like a ride at a fairground or roller coaster. Your body will be moving around, but you're still whole. Hopefully, by the end of it, you're still whole. That's just me watching far too many films, like one of the Final Destination movies. The best one, I think, with a roller coaster, but that's a whole other topic indeed. So it builds that. What does that give us as well? It gives us this profound, true confidence. Confidence is this unwavering knowing. And that knowing is very quiet. It's actually very silent knowing. It doesn't need to prove itself. It doesn't need to be loud or to shout out to those at the back. It doesn't need to remind everybody all the time. It just is. So we're living from this quiet, clear, solid inner confidence in who we are, what we stand for, why this has such meaning, the benefits are of what we are doing. So we have that on the deepest rooted level within us. And that means that then any choices, any decisions we have to make will come from that place. It means that any time we're met with the challenges that happen to every single one of us along the creative process, read life, when I say creative process, it's the same thing. We have something to keep us steady, to come back to hold on to bow to surrender to let go into, to trust in, to have faith in. It means we have the ability to allow our hands to be freer so that we're not clinging so tightly that our knuckles go white or red. We're not controlling everything and exhausting ourselves and then fearing what's going to happen if one of those spinning plates falls. We're not having to try and put so much effort in so hard that, as I say, we exhaust ourselves, that we just lose the joy. We have that. We trust in that. It's massive. Also, when we're in alignment, it means that we become very magnetic. We're basically full of ourselves. We're full of presence. And when we're in that presence of who we are, it's very attractive. Yeah, we'll be drawn to those that stand in their presence. Whether they're on a stage speaking, whether they're sitting quietly in a room of people, we are naturally drawn to that one that holds that sense of who they are. They're in alignment with their own being. And not only does it attract perhaps others into that space of who we are, but it also attracts everything else. It's like, like I say, this huge magnet attracts the opportunities, attracts the possibilities, attracts the magic, attracts the miracle simply by being alignment itself, which is great. Life then and things that we want become a lot easier to bring in. Again, less effort, less trying to prove all of this kind of stuff. It's not needed when we are starting from that baseline of alignment. How does that sound? Oh yeah, one more thing. It's also pleasurable. It's enjoyable. There's a lightness to being in that place. That means we can go out and play more. It means we can stop and smell the roses more in our life. It means that we can go out and just be in the world and be engaged in all those things that take our fancy or that bring us to life or light us up, turn us on, make us feel extra juicy. We're very aligned to eroticism. The erotic is the sap, the force of life that is pulsing through every single living thing. So give me a hell yes below if this is something that sounds bloody good to you. And it is all so possible and so easy to live in and as from. A final thing with this, another final thing, because more things keep popping in as I'm speaking with you. A final thing here is when we're living in alignment, something happens where we let go of having to get to this particular destination, having to have that particular thing, needing to make that, and so on and so on. It's not that we don't necessarily still desire those things. Very, very much so. That's absolutely fantastic. It means we let go more and more of the how, the where, the when, the having to have that particular outcome happen in this particular time frame and so on. And that is incredibly liberating. So you could say that being in alignment gives us the freedom to be, the freedom to play out in our lives, the freedom to enjoy the moments of our lives and who we're with and what we're doing, rather than kind of half being there because we're working out this or thinking we've got to do that tomorrow and so on. It means that we get to experience the fullness of the life that we have and that we don't end up missing the moments of our life. It also means that we're not wasting our time in our life. We're actually doing and spending time with and engaging in activities and making plans and so on that are resonant with the alignment of ourselves. Yeah? So that also changes. We might find that we don't want to do this anymore, or we stop wanting to engage with that. We might find people fall away. other people will come in. So very naturally, things start to happen that help us to keep building and building and building and cultivating this muscle of alignment, this strength, this gem of alignment more and more and more. It kind of has a momentum once we start to live in and as alignment. I'm going to pause there for a moment, just to allow all of that to sink in, just to see how it feels, to hear all of that, what that's like. If that sounds good to you, if that's bringing anything up for you. It's exciting. It's exciting. So, I want to introduce you today to the 7 rules of the Alignment Club. As I say, this is a little bit of play on the whole Fight Club thing. The secret rules of alignment. And again, I'm just being playful with that. Some people use that, go, I'm going to tell you the secrets and no one knows this, but we kind of do. But I'm being playful with my words, playful with the metaphor, because I like that. That's part of who I am in my own alignment. If you get that, great. Give me a thumbs up. If it's not for you, then just stay stum. Okay? Because seriously, that's how it is. Too many of us actually don't honor our alignment because we fear what others are going to say. It's such a big thing, isn't it? We're fearful around, what if people don't get it? Or what if people disagree with me and start an argument? What if someone is really insulted by what I have to say, or offended, or it presses something in them, one of their core wounds, and they get really like, rah, at me? Or what if, people are disappointed at what I'm having to say, or they just, I'm not necessarily finding that so resonant suddenly in the people around me, and so should I just drop that and go back to maybe how I was before, not really fully in my alignment, because then I still have this audience and so on. And I will say, from my own experience, and still from my own experiences, I would rather speak to nobody and be in my absolute authentic truth, my own alignment, my own voice, than not be that person that I am. That's everything to me, because in this there is a trust in something more. There's that trust in that invisible, that the more I voice and stand and come from my own place of alignment, the more that will magnetize and attract those who are ready or are on the same vibration to receive what I have to share. That's just facts. And I'm still working on this. I'm kind of gone completely off topic, but it feels relevant. One of the things for me I'm really with right now is this thing of speaking about things a little bit more edgy. I've come to this many times before. It's such a big part of who I am. This place that's fascinated by what we can call the taboo, that which is a little bit like you don't say that, or that's not allowed, or we don't speak of that here, or has been kind of, zipped up in society, or it's controversial. The mischievous trickster part of me, which is very strong, naturally kind of veers towards those things with a real curiosity, with a real part that goes, I have something to say here. I want to say something, but I can still feel this is my edge, this is my truth, that there's still a little bit of something for me to be with around actually fully both feet in, owning that part of who I am and living from that. It's coming. It's very close. This has come up for me personally because part of my own alignment, part of my own choosing, my own adventure is to start writing more taboo pieces, essays on things and thoughts that I have around topics that will be divisive. That's just how it is. And that means being ready to receive possibly people really disagreeing, maybe people really disliking me, and all the rest of it. This is my edge right now? Am I willing to be really disliked? That's where I am. So my choose your own adventure is heading that way, this particular path. This is my, looking at what we're, those analogies. Mine is this particular project. Okay, it's this voicing of this. So this is my choose your own adventure that I'm exploring myself right now and using these rules of alignment to test those waters, to keep coming back to. So if there's something for you, I said yesterday about what's your choose your own adventure, what is your big desire, your dream, what is something you're standing on that edge to step into, please do share. Please do share what that is with us here. So let's get going. Let's start to look at these 7 rules of alignment. Okay, so the first one of these is very simply to notice, and we did speak about this yesterday, but it's to notice where you are out of alignment, where you are in misalignment, where you are, this is the shadow part of this, betraying yourself. So, taking what I've just spoken of for my own journey right now, where I betray myself right now, using that example, is I stopping myself from really going into and then putting out there particular things I have to say. I'm betraying my own soul that wants to have that voice and expression and wants to share that, because I'm curious, because I feel so much that reclaiming our voice, reclaiming what we have to say is so, so important for so many different reasons. Health levels, energy levels, emotional levels, soul level, everything. And this is where, especially for women, a lot of us carry what's known as the witch wound, where previous times we have been killed, burnt, drowned, exiled, whatever it might be, for allowing out our magic, our sorcery. Yeah, people have been scared of that, intimidated, felt threatened by that. And that's been like the ultimate kind of reaction. The most extreme way is basically your life being taken from you. And luckily we are where we are as very privileged Westerners. I think I'm speaking mainly to Westerners in my world, whether you're here in the UK or in the States or in Europe or Australia, because I know you're scattered all over the world, that have a certain level of privilege and freedom where we have that freedom of speech, and yet still standing and owning that it's on a very deep cellular, ancestral, cultural level, still holds a lot of that fear. It's given me such a great idea now for something I want to write about, perhaps, excuse me, later today. So thank you for this space to do so. So it's asking yourself, where am I betraying myself in my life? We have to get really honest. We have to get really clear. One of the easiest ways to spot this, actually, and when we can start to make some pivots here, is in going, where am I saying yes in my life when I don't really fully mean that, or I don't mean that in the slightest? And maybe I'm saying yes because it's for validation, or I want to keep the peace, don't want to rock the boat, for whatever reason, people pleaser, and so on, all these places and those. Where are you saying yes in your life where you really don't want to? What are you saying yes to that actually doesn't, you just know that you're actually, in a way, you can feel it, you're hurting yourself, breaking your own heart on a deep level. You feel funny afterwards. We know that when we feel a bit off. We can feel a bit off. It's a bit like, oh, I think something went a bit out of my integrity here. Conversely, where are you saying no to things in your life where you would like to say yes? Maybe that's to certain adventures. Maybe that's to going to something, a workshop or event that maybe is a little bit out of your usual realm. Maybe you've been invited to something, but it feels a bit scary to do so because maybe it's going on your own to this thing and you're not used to, or whatever it is. So there is a desire there, but your old stories, your old patternings, the misalignment of you is making you say no. Really, really good place to start is looking at where your yeses and your nos are not in alignment. And actually, for a lot of us, again, particularly for women, we are probably more used to saying yes than we are no. We're claiming our no is a power bitch move. And I say bitch with love. I watched Bridesmaids again a few weekends ago with a friend of mine. And what I absolutely adored, I think it was in that film. No, it wasn't in that film, was it? It was another film. Anyway, menopause brain. There was a bit in it where one of them gave the other person a badge that said super bitch on it. You're my super bitch. And I just love that. It's like an endearing thing. So owning your no is a super bitch move. Yeah, it's an intention of my boundaries are fucking vital to me and I will not shift those boundaries or change them or tweak them or squish them or anything for nobody. Their boundaries are in place to fully respect who I am and to respect you. So, yeah, misalignment. Where are you spending your resources that doesn't feel quite right? Yeah, maybe your resources, your main resources are things like your time, your energy, your attention, your money, the levels of the well of your well-being, your creativity, your social ability, your social currency, you could call it. These are our resources. Yeah, they're vital. Yet if we're betraying ourselves, we'll be spending or investing the currency, it's all energetic currency, of particular resources in a way that doesn't feel like it fills us up. It doesn't feel like it replenishes us back again. And I'm not saying like every time we invest one of our resources that we need to get that back, because sometimes maybe we will need to, spend time with somebody that's really needing our help, and it's not about us getting something back, it's because we love that person. But if we're doing that every single week, again, again and again, over and over and over, and perhaps we never get any of that back in other ways from that person, then there is something here where we're betraying ourselves. Same with money, same with our time, same with our attention, our energy. These things are like, these make up our life force. So getting really clear about how am I using these? Where am I spending these? And are they in alignment with who I am, or do I feel in some way they are betraying my own integrity? Integrity comes into this place of self-betrayal. So that is our first secret rule of the Alignment Club, is to notice where you are in misalignment, where you're in self-betrayal, and to do this with great kind curiosity. It's not about whipping ourselves into like badness or wrongness or shame or anything like that. It is simply about building and cultivating the awareness, because once we see things, it might be a little bit shocking to begin with. Often these things can be, but then we can move into the second secret rule of alignment, which is know that your choice, what you choose is your power. Choice is power. So once we have an awareness, we can then go, okay, I have a choice now. I've seen this. I can't unsee this. So next time a situation comes up, maybe it's that person again needing your time, needing your energy and attention. You've given that over and over and over again, and it seems very unbalanced in that particular relationship. you feel like it's taking the piss, like there's a certain dynamic here that's not healthy, maybe the choice here is to approach this differently. Maybe the choice here is to say, do you know what? No, actually, I'm not available. Maybe the approach is to go, I love you. Right now isn't a good time for me. I can give you an hour this afternoon, tomorrow, next week, and so on. You know, you can put your boundary around that. Whatever it is that you need to do. Your choice is your power. When we know that, it becomes really apparent that every single moment of our life is a choice point. We literally go day by day by day, making a million choices. Most so, there's probably say like 99% really, of the choices we make from as soon as we wake up to as soon as we close our eyes to go to sleep. We are making very unconscious choices. And depending on what's the stronger muscle, the misalignment or the alignment, we'll be making a lot of those unconscious choices from automatically from those places. Okay? So for instance, maybe, you know, every day after work, we just get back in the car, we go home, open a massive bag of crisps, sit in front of the telly, watch shite until you're, you know, whatever. That could be an unconscious choice made out of self-betrayal when actually in integrity, in your alignment, there's a desire to be more healthy. It's not a forcing or I have to be or a new resolution. It's just a sense of something calling you towards that. So maybe catching that choice is then going, okay, I finish work. Maybe I could park my car on the way home one street over and then just walk that one street home. Then go and sit down with your bag of crisps and watch the TV and just chill there. Adding in a little bit of walking. Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe it's going home, parking the car and going, I'm going to walk for 20 minutes, that little local park. And then come home and do that. Or maybe it's like you end up coming home and going, I'm going to go for a walk, going to come back, might cook myself some dinner, might read a book, whatever. Okay, these things don't necessarily happen just like, that's it, overnight, things are changing. But if we can put in a slightest thing towards our alignment, it's amazing how much that begins to build up. Not just on the impact it has for us and building that muscle, but also on our confidence, how we feel about ourselves. There's something happens. You know, it's like, yay. You can celebrate that. Even if it's just a teeny tiny choice, there's something different. Choice is power. It's also noticing when we keep choosing to betray ourselves, to own that. It's okay. But just be honest. You know what? I'm choosing this again. I am so aware I'm choosing it again. I'm probably going to experience the same thing further down the line that I've done before. But I am fully aware of that. For whatever reason right now, I am still going to choose this. Okay? So I forgive myself. I'm going to be kind to myself about it. I take full ownership. This is how it is. Choice is power. So what are you choosing? Why are you choosing it? What is it serving? Who you are? Your integrity, your alignment? Or who you're not? Again, love to know your thoughts on these so far. So we've had 2. Let's go to the third one. So, our third secret rule of alignment, how do I get into alignment, you might be thinking, I don't know, is to follow what turns you on. Follow what excites you, what makes your ears prick up. Maybe you overhear someone talk about something, or you're walking down the street and you see a poster for something or a sign, or you walk past a cafe and it's something about it is drawing you in, or you're in a bookshop and that particular book or that particular cover or story is like, ooh. Start to notice what turns you on as you are living your life. What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel juicy? What gives you pleasure? What you want maybe to know more about or lean into? What makes you lick your lips? What feels erotic to you? What feels good? You know, it's very simple. What you were drawn to. Don't worry about the why or if this is, I mean, I shouldn't really even have to say this, but, going around chopping people into pieces might turn you on, but I would say you have problems. Okay. There's a level of moral conscience to go here. If, this is interesting now, I touch on that, if there is harmful behavior that is turning you on, that is compulsive for you, or obsessive, this is interesting. Anything compulsive or obsessive, however pleasurable that might feel, however much you go, well, Heidi Hinder, this is juicy for me. You've said to follow that. If it's compulsion, obsessive, if it feels unhealthy, it's destructive, it's harmful to yourself or others, then I would advise you, my darling, to go and seek professional support. End of. I'm just going to leave that there. But following your turn on is part of living this life of choose your own adventure. Because that's what adventure is filled with, all of this stuff. So even today, just looking around wherever you are, I can see there's some of this rare summer sunlight on the building, the beautiful building across from me. I love the building across from my living room window. It's really old. It's got these huge round big windows. It's got lovely carvings. It's like a sense of it's stone like, and there's something about the soulfulness of that turns me on. The light turns me on. The fact I can see blue in the sky turns me on. My plants, lots of gorgeous blooming healthy plants, turns me on. Speaking to you right now, sharing this here turns me on. Yeah, my lovely cup, which was a birthday present a few years ago. Drinking my hibiscus tea out of this pot turns me on. So sometimes it's not even like, oh my God, but I have to know what is I'm going to be doing. No, it's starting with the being place of noticing, giving more focus and attention and that yes to, and that curiosity, the things that just turn you on anyway, in that kind of sensory world, in the world that you are actually living in and going about your day to day in. This gives you the clues. It then maybe like you go, okay, I'm going to drink my morning coffee out of this every day, which is now what I'm doing. I've had that cup in my cupboard for about a year. Now it's part of my morning routine. Maybe it's going to places, for me, like southern Spain, Malaga, where there's a lot of buildings that have a similar soulful feel to this one outside my window. So I can walk around those streets, just walk around the streets and feel something that just fills me and nourishes me. So we can start to make those choices, rule number 2, based on the information we're getting about what turns us on. We begin to create our life with these pieces, like jigsaw pieces. It sounds beautiful, doesn't it? I think it sounds really beautiful. Number 4. This is about, someone touched upon this in day 1. This is about responsibility, or radical responsibility. I love that, adding that word on the top. All the work that I do is about freedom. Ultimately, underneath it all is freedom. For a long time growing up, for many years, particularly throughout my 20s, I believe that freedom meant like almost this kind of free-spirited, wandering around the world, just doing whatever I wanted, not being tied to anything. That was freedom. Like I had an absolute and utter repulsion towards anything that felt like it was against my definition of freedom. As I have grown up and matured, I realized that that's not freedom. It's another form of bondage, actually, because there's no roots in that. There's no substance to that. There's no gravitas. There's nothing that grounds that into reality. It's actually very leaky in its energy. It can be quite dangerous, actually, being in that place. Freedom is anchored to reality. It has a duty and is actually in service to reality. So just take a moment to let that land in. It's going to blow my nose, excuse me. Thank you. I've got some hay fevery stuff going on today. Yeah, responsibility has a gravitas to it. It's got a weight. It's got a dignity to it, responsibility, radical responsibility, because it's about relationship to life. Everything is relationship. Everything is relationship. Soon as we're born, we're in relationship. So our responsibility, firstly, to ourselves, to that sense of, am I in alignment? I'm in betrayal. My awareness to that, my choices. Responsibility to the things that I've said yes to. That could be the work that you do, the job that you do, the project, the collaborations. It's in the responsibility is also towards the relationships, the actual relationships, your family, your partner, your children, your friends, your colleagues, and so on. If you're a leader, you think about that. It's your relationship, the responsibility to those that you're in leadership to. Maybe it's to the land if you're traveling around, to the vision that you're creating, that you're putting your time, energy, you're investing your resources into. It's also a responsibility to your word. When we're in alignment, we're very clear what we stand for. When we're out of alignment, it's not so honest. So therefore, it's a really good way of knowing if we're out of alignment, we probably have a problem with responsibility because it's not really your truth. So responsibility is really powerful. And the more that we live in that place of responsibility, interestingly, the more it gives us freedom. Because it's honest, it's truthful, nothing is hiding, it's of integrity, that has spaciousness, it has wings, it has possibility into it. It's kind of the opposite to what we think. True freedom has responsibility holding it. It's its lining, it's its frame to dance in. Has to. Whatever that is, could be a responsibility to the value that we're living our life by. It could be a responsibility for the vision or the mission statement of what it is that we are building or crafting, the project, the community, the charity, whatever it is. It's to our word. In a relationship, it's a responsibility to what we say we're bringing, what we're offering, what we've been clear about. Sure, that gets betrayed in all sorts of ways. Of course, all of these places do. And sometimes we have to betray others in order not to betray ourselves. Interestingly, this just popped into my head now, but interestingly, I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and we were talking a little bit about this in another context. And I was reminded of this poem. I think she wrote it back in, I want to say the 80s. It could even be earlier. And it's a woman called Araya Mountain Dreamer. And the poem is called The Invitation. And in fact, I might read this out actually at some point and put it on here because it's beautiful. And back in the day when she'd created this poem, people were sending it all over the place. And this is before, emails and things. So people were writing this out in letters and sending it, and that got sent on and sent on and sent on until it became this huge sensation. And she's written a book about the poem, explaining it a bit more. People would, go on a date and read that poem out, or use it in holding spaces around the world, or as something to kind of hold up and go, this is what I aspire to. I will read this out at some point. I'm going to put that on my little list of things to do. And there's a bit in it which talks about, are you willing to betray another in order to be trustworthy? And there's another bit to that as well, I can't quite remember. And it was the part that many people responded to, thinking that she'd made, she'd done something, got it wrong there. She'd kind of missed the mark in her message. It was something about, are you prepared to be disloyal or faithless or something like that? And people were like, oh no, don't you mean faithful, and blah, blah, blah. And she went on to explain over time, when this was becoming more and more apparent that people weren't getting this, was that sometimes we do say or step up or stand by what we are expressing, what our word is at that time in absolute alignment. 100%. It's true. But we all change and we grow and we evolve and things happen to us and experiences. And sometimes those things that were 100% true at that time, at this time, are not anymore. We've outgrown them or there's just things have just changed. It's life. So when she said that, she spoke about that very courageous part of us that if that's happened, maybe the most honest thing we can do is to betray then the other, to be faithless in order that we stay in our own alignment. And this isn't talking about, necessarily doing anything that we know is harmful or destructive or, kind of a little bit manipulative or is blatantly lying. It's having a real transparency and honesty. It's very courageous. But it's the willingness to go, I'm not that person anymore. So this has changed. It might have pivoted just slightly, or you're still on board, or it might be very different. And that is a whole other conversation itself, but it's just arisen in me, so I wanted to share that with you too. Let's move on. What do you think to all of this? It's a good one today, isn't it? So the fifth rule of the Alignment Club is getting super clear about what direction you're navigating towards. Imagine you're on a ship, you've set sail. What is your where are you going? It's having a clear vision. What is your compass set towards? What's your destination? What's your goal at the end of the day? Where are you hoping to land and drop anchor? Do you know? Because sometimes, this is very interesting, sometimes we don't know, and rather than having a clear sense of we're setting off to head this way, because everything in us is calling us this way, it's so aligned. Sometimes we set off because we don't want this where we're in right now. So it's almost like we're just fleeing, we're just escaping from something, we're leaving something because it doesn't feel okay, it feels uncomfortable, there's resistance there, that it's kind of tricky, it's challenging right now, we're feeling stuck. So it's not really, we're not necessarily heading anywhere from a real propelled vocational place. It's clear we're heading in this for a clear reason, a clear vision. It's more that we're trying to escape from or, kind of get away from something that feels deeply dissatisfying or unfulfilling. And unless we're prepared to really sit with all of that and get very clear about what is it, and is it in me? Am I running away from myself? Because I tell you what, my darlings, wherever we go, we will bump up against ourselves over and over again. I had this experience in Asia recently, and it shocked me to my core. There's certain things that I was like, fuck, I've brought myself with. Change my environment, go across the world, I'm still bringing myself with. So whenever it is that we're doing, why are we doing it? It's the reasons why. Is it because we're running away from something? Is it kind of trying to prove something? Or is it real strong sense that there is this longing towards, this clear, pure desire towards? There's an urgency. It's not we're moving with an anxiety. It's with an urgency. It's a very different feeling of that energy. It's clear, it's soul sap, it's strong, it's aligned, very different. So before I give you the last two rules of alignment, I want to remind you about the alignment keys. The alignment keys is part of the foundation of your creative practice, living a creative life of freedom, getting your shit done, being successful in your endeavors, staying the course, meeting the challenges, understanding your erotic energy, your relationship with your finances, with your money, understanding your own creative process, having a strong connection to your body, having these things in place that will absolutely guarantee your success of your whole adventure. Okay, the alignment keys, as I've mentioned, from everything I'm talking about, is without these, what's the point? Really, not if you really want to make things work. This program is 3 days. 3 days. You're going to get ultra clear on your vision, why it matters. You're going to go into the somatics around your values. We're trying these on. It's energetic. It's not just, that sounds nice. It's clear. It's real. Where you've been betraying yourself. It is the groundwork. It's the grit that you need for any of these things you want to create. And it is extraordinary. 3 live sessions. You get beautiful workbooks to go with this that I've got all the information, loads of exercises. You can print them out and keep. They're absolutely stunning. You get your own private group where we can support and share with each other. You've got voice messages with me throughout that time of the program. That's very valuable indeed. Voice notes, coaching notes with me. The program is, this will be the last time it's this. The program is 333 for all of what I've just said. I only run this live once a year. Okay, it starts next week. Everything's recorded. If you can't catch any of the lives, everything is recorded for you. It's 333. This is the last time this is going to be this price. And for those of you that are wanting to do this, you know that you are ready to take your creative life seriously. You're ready to step into that alignment, to live in that place of absolute and utter respect, clarity, integrity, what you are here for, what you're in service to be. You're ready to step into your power, to your leadership, to craft that business, to build what it is that you are building. Until midnight this Saturday, I'm giving a third off the price. So it's only 222, which is insane. It will never be this price again. I will put the details below. If you have questions, you'd like to chat with me, if this is actually, you're ready for this is where you are, I'm so open to that. I love having these no obligation conversations with you. So again, I'll pop my calendar so you can book a chat. We start next Wednesday, the 24th. So let's go back to the rules of alignment. So we're at number 6 now. Yeah, 2 more left to do. So the 6th secret rule of the Alignment Club, and this one's great. Again, we go super deep into this as well. It's actually really good fun. Is to own your fucking excuses. Excuses. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm not enough. I can't do this. I don't have time. I don't think I'm any good. They're better than me. I can't do that. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Recognize any of these? Now, any excuse, anything, any reason that stands between you and the thing that's really calling you, the thing you've been dreaming of or desiring, as real as it will seem, and it will seem real, and it maybe it is like really practically real. I don't have enough money to sign up for this program. Maybe that's really real for you. But that desire, that longing is there. Every single thing is an excuse. And I say that with deep bowing and honoring to these places. They are everywhere. They seem real. Oh boy, they seem real. And they are exactly that. They are excuses. They hide something beneath. And if they don't, say it's around the money, but you're using that as an excuse, then it's a matter of being really honest and going, okay, Don't have the money, I want to do this. I'd like to still join. What can we do? We come up with a solution. We come up with, for me, with a payment plan. You know? I don't have time to put into writing my book. But you want to do it? Yeah. So let me look at this? Okay. So you say you don't have time. Okay. What about when the kettle's boiling? What, 2 minutes? Yeah, 2 minutes. Could you just jot down a little bit of something? I suppose so. Give it a try. How many times do you have a cup of tea a day? Oh, I must boil the kettle about, I don't know, about 7 times a day or something. Great. You've got pretty much 15 minutes of writing time in your day. That's a lot of writing time. Things are either excuses, full stop. That's when they become excuses. Because there's something else going on that we don't necessarily want to look at. Or they become these things that seem like they're obstacles in the way, but the desire for that dream is so clear in us. We're so aligned to that we are prepared to go, okay, this is the reality, this thing. What can we do to work with that or around that or through that, or what are the gifts of that and so on? Yeah, you see the difference? So this is one of the things, again, that we will explore in the alignment keys, because we are full of those. And I tell you what, we are so unoriginal with our excuses. It's such a shame, really, but there you go. Interesting one, yeah? So you can notice in yourself, I've been saying that, I don't think I've got the right skills for that, so I can't really do it. Is that an excuse? I've been living that excuse. If it wasn't an excuse and I was in alignment, maybe my question then would be, okay, what skills do I need and where can I look to gain that? YouTube's got loads of free resources. Maybe there's a local community college. What about Open University? So on and so on. It's being empowered. It's that choice is power place around what we deem as our excuses for not choosing our own goddamn adventure. You want to live in a life of excuses? Your choice. Honestly, all of this is no right or wrong. It's completely your choice. Okay, the last one. This is the big one. This is what we're going to spend a lot of time with. We get very caught up with the how. How do I? I don't know how to. Yeah, but how do I? Haven't worked out how. And when I get the how, then I will blah, 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 blah. Put it down to the side. All we need is our very clear sense of why. What is the meaning? This is the 7th rule of the Alignment Club, to get very clear about our why. And there is a way to work with this where we go deeper and deeper and deeper until we hit something, which when we hit it might be so far removed from that top thing. But when we get it, you will know, because nothing else exists. It's like you've reached 0 point in you. When we have that is literally, it's not even the seed, it's the space, it's the atom of potentiality inside the seed of what it is that is our vision. That becomes the potent place of our life as creative activism in what we do, to living as creative revolution, and to absolutely and utterly taking the steps on our own choose your own adventure path. It's radical living. We have to have that in place. It is the key. It's priceless. That's it. It's got nothing, this atom is just, we know the power of an atom. We know the power of an atom. If you get a sense of what your atom is, that is in you, it's your soul, it's what your soul is made up of, if you like. It's not, but you know what I mean. I don't know that, actually, just that, again, I'm not going to pretend I do know, but it's got that quality. It's coming from that place. Your whole life, because of choose your own adventure. And you have no idea the impact that has, not just on your life, but on everyone around you, in your community, and what you're giving, how you're inspiring others, what lives you end up saving. Seriously. That is everything. So, my loves, I didn't know this was going to be quite such a long session here, day 2 of Choose Your Own Adventure. And I want to say thank you so much for your time and attention. This is juicy, powerful work. The world needs those of us who are prepared to walk this path of integrity and alignment, to choose our own adventures because they serve something bigger than who we are. They create magic in the world. They offer freedom into the world. Magic, so much that the world needs this. It needs us to come from this place. It is, as I say, radical work. It's courageous work. It's not for the faint of heart. But boy, oh boy, the rewards of this is everything. And you get all of this clear for you. You are invincible. You are invincible in whatever it is that you wish to put out there. So just a reminder, the alignment keys start next Wednesday, the 24th. I only offer this program once a year as a live program. So this is this year's. It's very exciting. It's an incredible program. It ought to be 333. That's the price. It's the last time it will be 333. I am offering a 30% discount of 222. Only available until midnight this Saturday, the discount, and then the price goes back to the full price. If you want any more information, just hit me up, send me a DM, let me know, and I'm really happy to offer you whatever information you want. This is the path of the revolution. This is how we choose our own adventure. So we have one more day of the Choose Your Own Adventure series, and I'm so excited about tomorrow because this is day 3 is all about saying bye-bye to Ms. Nice Girl and to literally having our own voice and why that is connected to choosing your own adventure. So it's fuck being, giving a fuck about what all these other people say, squishing ourselves down, and it's going to be super fun. So tomorrow's session, day 3 session, those of you watching this live, will be at 10 a.m. BST. I'm just trying different times out at the moment. So 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, those of you that are in the UK. I look forward to seeing you there. Let's set you up for this weekend. And once again, thank you. Anyone that you know would love, love, love these, they can still sign up and I will send these videos because they're not going to stay forever in this group. So you'll get access to them for as long as you need to rewatch by letting me know you want to sign up to receive them. Okay, my loves, take it easy. Let me know anything that's come up from you from watching this, and I wish you a beautiful day.